Hi, I'm Jamie Smart, and this episode is the recording of a keynote speech I did at the Inside Out conference in Zurich a couple of years ago. Now, it's only short, it's like a 17-minute talk, but I really enjoyed it, so I hope that you do too.
I'm Jamie Smart, and you're listening to the Results Mindset Podcast, the show that helps you have less on your mind so you can achieve the results that matter to you and enjoy the journey every step of the way.
You've got a better material lifestyle than the wealthiest people in the world 200 years ago. We've made the most incredible technological advances. Like, since the Industrial Revolution, the average standard of living of everyone on the planet has increased tenfold. That's unprecedented in history. The discovery of germs and modern sanitation has added 30 years to the average human lifespan. Again, unprecedented in history. So materially, we already have the material of the most amazing lifestyle possible, as well as the incredible things that are possible with technology. So that's incredible. So if that's the case, how come stress and anxiety and mental illness is at an all-time high in the Western world? How come war and terrorism continue to plague us? I mean, on the one hand, violence is at its lowest levels in history. So there's less war actually happening on the planet than ever before. So amazing. But ISIS want to end the world. So boo. Korzybski, the guy who created the field of general semantics, was in the intelligence services in the First World War. And he insightfully observed that our technology had come on by leaps and bounds over the last 100 years, but that our patterns of thinking, our ways of understanding the world, were still stuck in the Middle Ages. And the philosopher Gregory Bateson said, the biggest problems in the world are caused by the gap between how nature already works and the way people think. And you can look at the history of human evolution as a process of closing that gap, the evolution of our knowledge. So we used to think the world was flat. Oh no, it's spherical. We used to think that the Earth was the unmoving center of the universe. Oh no, the Earth goes around the sun. We used to think that illness and disease were caused by bad smells. I've got an article from the 1817 New England Journal of Medicine. So you got to understand, this is the premier medical journal of the 1800s. And it's got the reasons for childbed fever. Childbed fever, hideous illness that afflicts women immediately before, during, and after childbirth. They said the reasons included constipation, bad smells, vigorous exercise, taking a long journey, the weather. They had a list of about 17 things. The one thing that wasn't on that list was bacteria on the hands of the doctors. And that was the one thing that was causing it. So the discovery of germs and the realization of it and the role it plays in illness has made an incredible contribution to our health, to the health of everyone in this room, actually. It looked like a lot of things, but it was just one thing. So here's what happened to me. Some of you heard last night I can't even remember, an amazing material lifestyle, but a really poor mental and emotional lifestyle. And so I went on a journey. I hired a coach, and he started exploring with me the principles behind clarity. And I started having insights. And the first insight I had was I suddenly realized, oh, everything you've been looking for outside of you is actually already within you. And this is what I was talking to Andrew about up on the stage last night. Everything everything you've been looking for outside of you is already within you. Now, I'm not saying if you really like cool shoes, like mine, they are very cool. I'm not saying that if you really like cool shoes, they're already within you. I have no evidence for that statement. But the feelings of awesomeness that you imagine you would have if only you could wear shoes as awesome as these, those feelings of awesomeness are already within you. I'd been looking for feelings of security and peace and well-being and purpose. I'd been looking outside of me for them. They're already there within you. So that was the first insight I had. I say insight, I didn't figure that out. Like 1 minute I didn't know that. And then all of a sudden, oh, you see it. The second insight I had was a few weeks later. I was talking to some of my friends about this stuff. And I suddenly saw the fact that you can even see or hear or feel, the fact that you can even have an experience of life means that you have the source of well-being and mental health and clarity already within you. It's already within you. It's so interesting. I got an email from a woman called Mahima. And Mahima wrote an email saying she'd picked up a copy of my book in an airport or something. And this sentence from the book jumped out at her. It said, 100% of your feeling is letting you know about thought in the moment. You're living in the feeling of thought in the moment. And she read this sentence. She thought, oh, I'll have to get that book. Then she didn't get it. She forgot about it. Then a few months later, she Googled that phrase. It came back to her. 100% of your feeling is coming from thought in the moment. And she's found some videos and stuff and started watching them. And she started exploring this stuff and started to get impacted. Then a month or two after that, the earthquake hit. Mahima lives just outside Kathmandu. And so it was April of this year when there was this enormous earthquake in Nepal. Devastating. And she was terrified. She was terrified like everyone else because, buildings falling down and the whole 9 yards, thousands of people died. And she was a couple of hours into that experience when all of a sudden that thought hit her. 100% of your feeling is coming from thought in the moment. And in that moment, she had a profound insight. She woke up to that source of security and clarity and wisdom and well-being that exists within every single person. She woke up to it and her head cleared and suddenly she was no longer afraid. And I was interviewing her about it. We have a thing called the World Clarity Project and we gave her a scholarship place on one of our programs. So I'm interviewing her about her experience. And one of the people in the audience asked, once you saw this, did you start teaching it to other people? She said, well, no, it's not really the time and the place. People are really sitting in lecture halls and stuff. She said, but never underestimate the power of a mentally healthy human being. She said, being in the presence of a sane human being does something to people. And she said, after she fell out of all of the fear and panic that was contaminating her psychology, she knew what to do. I mean, you guys know that. If there's an emergency, the first instruction isn't run around panicking and flapping your arms. What do people say? Remain calm. Remain calm, because clarity is your mind's natural state. So that was my second insight. I suddenly saw the fact that you can even see or hear means you have this within you already. You have that source of peace, that source of well-being, that source of creativity and clarity. They're your birthrights. They're already there. And so I was interested at this point. And then one day I was out in LA, I was at a mastermind group, and I'd been looking for my purpose, like Andrew was last night. I'd been looking for my purpose, and I finally went, oh, you know what, I'm just gonna do some learning and forget about looking for my purpose for a while. One morning I wake up and I was like, oh, this isn't a technique or a method or an approach. These are principles. These are principles. These principles are to psychology what the discovery of germs was to medicine. And I saw it. I saw it. I suddenly knew that this is what I was going to be doing for the next 20 years, was helping people see these principles and seeing them for myself. So I literally picked up the phone. I called my business partner, Nikki. I said, Nikki, we're getting out of the NLP business. She's like, why? We had a really successful NLP company. I said, there's principles. She's like, what are you talking about? So I set to persuading her that it was a good idea to stop doing what we've been doing and look in this direction. And so that was 2009. And it's been an amazing few years. So I literally, the moment I saw it, that day, I made the call to Nikki. I booked myself on training. I got more people to do coaching with me. All this stuff, started creating programs about it. And I started talking about it to my community. Now, when I started talking about it, I sounded like an idiot. Because you may be saying, well, that hasn't changed so much. No, I sounded crazy to my community because it's like I'd been talking in this direction for years, and all of a sudden I'm looking in a completely opposite direction. They're like, what are you talking about? But I could see it so clearly. See, that question, our technology has brought us so far. It's made so much possible. If you'd have described our circumstances to the people of 200 years ago, and if you asked them, how would you feel if you lived somewhere with central heating, if you had magic devices that could let you talk to people, if you could get information about the world anytime you want, if you could fly from one place to another, if you lived in a world where there was enough food, where people had medical health, how would you feel? They would say, I would feel fucking amazing. That would be brilliant. That would be incredible. I would literally have light pouring out of all my orifices, and I would feel a deep sense of peace and well-being. But that's not what happened, is it? Here's why. Because we're still operating on a medieval understanding of how life works, what I referred to last night as the teddy bear factor. Because of how our perception works, it genuinely looks to us like our feelings are coming from the future, from the past, from our circumstances, from other people, from our shoes. It genuinely, like, who's ever had a haircut and they thought that their feelings of feeling rubbish came from the haircut? Anyone ever had that? Yeah. Who's ever had some unexpected money and thought that their feelings of security or joy came from the unexpected money? Sure. It's how our perceptual systems work. It innocently looks to us like our feelings are coming from somewhere other than thought in the moment. But it absolutely does not work that way. Now, here's the interesting thing. So in 2009, I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to be doing for the next 20 years. And I knew it like that. But I never said that to people. When I told that story, I said, this is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. Because to be honest, 20 years sounded a little uncommitted to me. It's like, how come 20 years? You're just going to give up after? And so I would say for the rest of my life. And then one day I was sitting there and I thought, maybe the insight that came to me was 20 years. Because 20 years is what it's going to take. In 1881, President Garfield of the USA, who's heard of President Garfield? That's enough people to prove that he actually exists and isn't just a cat. President Garfield was shot by an assassin, shot twice, once through the arm and once in the back. So he was shot twice at close range, but the bullets didn't kill him. He fell to the ground, and it was later reported that his body, in the weeks that followed, formed a protective case around the bullet. If it was just the bullet, he would have survived. But his doctors, this is the president of the USA in 1881, his doctors didn't believe in germs and bacteria. They thought it was a silly theory. They thought it was unnecessarily complicated. So they stuck their fingers and various other instruments into the bullet holes, the bullet hole in his back to try and get the bullet out. Well, he got viciously infected because of that. And he died 11 weeks later, not of the bullet wound, but of the infections caused by the innocent ignorance of his doctors. Now, this is the president of the USA, okay, has access to the best doctors money can buy, but the best doctors money could buy at that time did not believe in germs, even though Lister had been using sterile procedures on his patients for 14 years. It was well documented, but they didn't believe in it. If the president of the USA today was suffering from anxiety or something like that, he would be attended to by psychologists who don't know that he's living in the feeling of thought in the moment. They do not know that. And that simple misunderstanding, what I referred to yesterday as the teddy bear factor, isn't just the cause of stress and anxiety and depression. It's what keeps people struggling, looking for their purpose, searching. It's the cause of crime, most crime. It's the cause of relationship problems. It's the cause of terrorism. It's the cause of the injustice that gives rise to terrorism. It's the cause of the greed that's pillaging our planet. One misunderstanding. This understanding is to psychology what the discovery of germs was to medicine. You start seeing this for yourself, your life is going to transform. It's not just going to transform. See, anything you create in your life, the seed starts within you. And if you see how it works, your life's going to transform and your lifestyle is going to transform. The people of 200 years ago couldn't have imagined the world we live in today. And the reason we live in the world we live in today is because of discoveries of pre-existing principles in the field of chemistry, pre-existing principles in the field of physics, pre-existing principles in the field of medicine. The principles behind our psychology have been discovered. And if they're widely realized, they will be a bigger deal for humanity than anything that's been discovered in the last 200 years. And that's what I'm all about, and that's why I'm incredibly excited to have launched the World Clarity Project, and that's why I'm excited to be talking to you here today. So thank you for your attention.
Thanks for listening. If you want to experience a clear mind more of the time with better performance and bigger results, here's what to do next. Discover your personal clarity quotient by answering 20 simple questions at jamiesmart.com/CQ. This quick and easy questionnaire gives you a snapshot of your current state of mind, and it's totally free. You'll find out your stress score and your engagement score, as well as getting some ideas about how you can improve your overall clarity quotient. It'll only take you a few minutes to do, and you can get it for free at jamiesmart.com/CQ. And finally, I want to ask you a favor that'll only take you 30 seconds or even less, and it'll make a huge difference to me, my guests, and our community. If you like this show, then please let me and my guests know. And the quickest, easiest ways you can do this right now is subscribe to this podcast, because that's how you can let us know you like it. It's super easy, and it would really mean a lot to me. Just head over to iTunes right now, search for The Results Mindset, then click on the show and hit subscribe. Once again, it'll only take you 30 seconds or even less, and it'll make a big difference to me, because it helps people who resonate with my work to find this podcast. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate your help, so go ahead and subscribe now. Thanks for listening.